The 419 with Gretchen DeBacker, Matt Killam, and Kevin Mullen.
Welcome into the 419, powered by WGTE and presented by Witro Wealth Management. I'm Kevin Mullen.
Gretchen DeBacker.
Matt Killam.
It's Mayor Monday, y'all.
Mayor Monday.
We are going to be spending the day south of Toledo, so straight south on I-75.
Is that Michigan?
That's right.
You're so good at this.
right.
No, we're heading to Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
Going to be joined by Mayor Mike Aspacher from Bowling Green, Ohio.
This is a big get for us. We've been hunting for this mayor for a while.
Why has he been hiding from us?
I had to call out the big guns
All right.
to get to him. And so our good friend, BJ Fisher,
Yeah.
once he got involved, everything moved.
a done deal.
Much smoother.
Yeah.
Much smoother. It's amazing what happens when the phone call comes from someone who is intelligent and respected.
And it seems
really
less
anyone other than
stalkery.
me.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Less stalker. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm not opposed to stalking.
Yeah, no, I know.
Speaking of which, we're also I stalked to get our other guest on as well. Mark Ohashi from Maumee Valley, Wood County Habitat for Humanity.
Sure.
Formerly with Maumee Valley Habitat for Humanity, but he's the executive director now in Wood County. So we'll get an update from him. I think we've talked with almost every mayor on the program about housing challenges, and so I'm really interested in Mark's perspective on that. Across Northwest Ohio, and obviously the work they're doing in Wood County. Excited to highlight that as well. We talk about it every week. This is a kind of sneaky favorite, and as I talk to people in the community, they talk about how much they love Mayor Monday and getting a chance to see different parts of Northwest Ohio through the eyes of somebody who loves it. And there is nobody who loves the community more than their mayor.
Yes, right.
So an important neighbor of our community, and it's exciting to see what's going on out there.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. I had something in that it's just gone.
Just time.
I was just going to say you're struggling there.
It was there.
For a
It was
second.
there, and then
It's
it
the start of a new
disappeared.
week. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Now, should we talk about the fact that we have so few shows left of this season?
It is. We're nearing the final countdown of
Yes.
season one.
By popular demand.
Yes.
Yeah,
Winding
we've got
down.
no. This is so we have. We will have just one Mayor Monday left
Yeah.
in season one, and then we'll take a break for the summer. And then, hopefully, God willing, the creek don't rise. You'll see us back here on. That's a Gretchen.
Put money on the barrelhead for that one.
Well, son, way to bring it
It's
home.
not money; it's cash.
Cash on the barrelhead.
You don't even know your own phrases
don't.
anymore.
I don't.
That's how old
But
Gretchen
I don't
is.
know the creek don't rise one. That's
We should ask the mayor's favorite old colloquialisms.
yeah. Okay.
God willing, and the creek don't rise. You don't know that one?
That's a great one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
That's-
So you two are both. I just want to be clear on the record. You two are both saying that you don't know cash on the barrelhead, but you know God willing and the creek don't rise, and
Yes.
you think that there's a difference between those two things.
Yeah, one of them is yours, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Okay, got it.
yeah.
Just checking.
All right, so we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will be joined by the mayor of Bowling Green, Ohio, Mayor Mike Aspacher.
Nice.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back on the 419, powered by WGTE. Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at witroadvisors.com.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.
Welcome back into the 419, powered by WGTE. It's Mayor Monday. We're spending the day in Bowling Green. We're joined now by the mayor of Bowling Green, Ohio, Mike Aspacher. Mayor, thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
How long have you been in office?
I've been the mayor of Bowling Green since January of 2020.
What an easy time to be mayor.
It was great. Yeah, we had 2 really good months, and then things changed quite a bit.
The world was on fire.
Things changed.
Do you take any personal responsibility to the world shutting down?
0.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely 0.
Yeah,
We'll
perfect.
push that up the chain.
That's fair. We had the CEO of WGTE on, I don't know, a week and a half ago, a couple weeks ago, with announcement, obviously a partnership between WGTE and WBGU. Talk to me about kind of your thoughts on WBGU and what this new partnership is going to mean for the Bowling Green community.
Well, initially devastated by the impact of reduction in funding on WBGU. That was has been a tremendous positive organization on campus in Bowling Green State University, but very grateful at this point for the emerging partnership between WBGU and WGTE. There is so much value in public broadcasting that I think the most important thing at the end of the day is that those services are continued to be provided to our local communities. And I think that really you could argue at the end of the day the partnership is going to expand the footprint and the impact of WBGU. And that's a good thing. Yeah. So I think that there is great value in that partnership, as there generally is.
Mayor, can you tell us just some general data about BG before we talk more about you? How many people live there? What's the government structure? The geographic boundaries?
Sure. Bowling Green has a population in the last census of about 34,000, although I will say we think that was maybe a little undercounted because that happened in COVID.
Yes.
And Bowling Green State University was not in session at that time. But about 34,000, about half of that number is permanent residents and the other half are university students. In terms of our local government, we have a mayor-manager form of government where the mayor appoints a municipal administrator who is responsible for running the day-to-day business of the city. And the city has about 325 employees that work hard every day providing services to our residents. So yeah, I mean, geographically, we are, of course, located about 25 miles south of Bowling Green on I-75. In the Great Black Swamp, which does, of course, have an impact on the atmosphere and the environment that we all live in. But in my view, it's a tremendous community. It's Bowling Green State University certainly provides a great deal, I should say, of vibrancy and energy to the community. Our local residents are engaged with our local government, with our local businesses and the university, and there's just a lot of very positive things happening in our city today.
Are you full-time, part-time?
By charter, the mayor of Bowling Green is a part-time position. That's correct. I will say that I work a little bit more than part-time.
Yeah,
Probably
I love how you
answered
that. Yeah, but by charter, it's a part-time position. By reality, it's time and a half.
Yeah, and honestly, that brings, in my view, that brings benefit because what that does is it creates a professional government. Our organization is comprised of highly trained, highly educated individuals with specialized experience in their fields. So there really is no political influence when it comes to hiring and firing of city employees. They, of course, have civil service protections, but there is a significant focus on maintaining a professional government that exists solely to provide services to our residents.
I went to college in Miami, and it's I think kind of similar structure that it's a community that in the 3 months that school is out of session, it's a really small town, and then this influx of 18 to 21-year-olds show up and the population doubles or triples. I gotta believe that also, while that brings some energy and some vibrancy, from a government standpoint, it has to bring some challenges that, the average age, when you're thinking about who you're serving, during the 3 months of the summer, probably jumps by 30, 40 years, and then during the school year, drops back down to the mid-20s, right?
Yeah, there is certainly some truth to that, but in my experience, and I grew up in Bowling Green, I've never lived anywhere else, but in my experience, I experienced what you just described, that when school, after graduation, the town emptied out and it was an entirely different place. It's a little different than that today. It seems to me as though students are attending school year-round. I know that the university has worked very hard to attract activities to the campus year-round. For instance, I know that in the summertime there are almost continuously every week camps of some sort being conducted at the university. So the parents are bringing their kids for soccer camp or basketball camp or volleyball camp. And we're grateful for that, quite honestly, because that continues to stimulate the economy. People are still visiting our downtown, visiting restaurants, and bringing that vitality and that energy to the city. So it's a little different.
I attended multiple soccer camps there. Bowling Green was a nationally ranked soccer program in my youth, and the camp was well run. I didn't know Bowling Green very well, although we were not very far away. I grew up in the sort of the heart of the city of Toledo. But it's a magnificent place. The downtown is not only functional, we'll talk about commerce certainly shortly, but it's charming. I out of curiosity, and I know this is probably either a layup question or a difficult question to ask, but Mr. Mayor, when you think about a Bowling Green resident, who are the people you serve? What is the image that conjures?
I think it conjures what I see when I think of, or when I see our residents. I see people that are connected to each other.
Yes, sir.
I see people that look out for their neighbors. I see people that are committed to supporting local business and supporting our local institutions. For instance, we recently went on the ballot just last November and asked our citizens to approve a self-imposed increase in their income tax in order to support the construction of 2 new fire stations in our community, because we needed it because our community is growing and we're committed to providing those safety services to our community. The residents overwhelmingly approved it. So they support the institutions, they support the schools. Right now they are constructing a brand new $72 million high school that will soon open in Bowling Green. So the residents in Bowling Green are committed to each other, they're committed to the community. And I think you feel that. I think that everybody is connected. It's a caring community, and I'm really proud of that.
What are the reasons you can, do you say are the reasons that Bowling Green is growing?
I think that's part of it, is the fact that there's a little bit of a small town feel where you know your neighbors. We have older established neighborhoods where where the houses are close and people are still connected to each other. I think that our historic downtown provides a center. And during the summer, it seems almost as though we're continuously closing Main Street in order to conduct a festival. We have Firefly festivals, and Rally on BG is coming up, Rally on BG, which is a partnership with Bowling Green State University. Is coming up in August, and Black Swamp Festival, and the community is so connected and so responsive to these festivals that whenever we close that street and welcome people in to the heart of downtown, they turn out. And to me, that is a sign of the community pride in community, and how connected we are. And I think that resonates with people when they're looking to where they're going to live today.
When you come off 75 and start driving into Bowling Green, the university has an imposing presence. They've certainly invested a lot in the buildings all along the street there, not least of which the athletic complex and the Greek housing and other things. It's a beautiful campus. But certainly an imposing presence in the city, not in a negative way. What do you do? What do you do on a regular basis to foster the relationship with the university and make sure that the city and the university are in lockstep?
And Dr. Rogers knows that you're in charge, right?
Well, I don't know that it's fair to say that I'm in charge. I'm one part of the team. I'm one player on the team. That's how I see myself. But the results that you mentioned on East Worcester Street, those improvements, that's intentional. That's the result of a very intentional planning process. Actually, there was a combined planning process that took place when I was a member of City Council that very intentionally looked at that corridor. It was identified as the first thing that people see when they pull off of I-75. Not only are they recognizing the presence of Bowling Green State University, but we also recognize an opportunity to use that as a welcoming corridor to funnel people into our downtown. And I don't know if you've been in our downtown recently, but it's wonderful. It's a source of pride that's the envy of many other communities. And so the improvements that you've seen on East Worcester Street are intentional, and it's a part of a result of a collaborative process that continues to this day. In fact, we just announced yesterday a new partnership with Bowling Green State University, where we will be constructing a new Bowling Green Law Enforcement Education and Training Center on city-owned property on the north side of town. It's a direct collaboration partnership with the city and Bowling Green State University. And frankly, our staffs meet on a regular basis to discuss opportunities for collaboration, whether it's around sidewalk improvements, roadway improvements, or infrastructure, or event planning type thing. I think we're connected.
At the risk of outing sort of a dream scenario. I'm curious, if not encumbered by dollars or practicality even, and you had a magic wand, what would be something that you would want to change, add, improve, or potentially remove immediately in Bowling Green? Is there a dream of yours that's in a drawer somewhere?
I would probably want to break down any barriers that exist for collaboration and communication. You know, I think that the environment that we're living in today, and I don't think that Bowling Green necessarily is at all divided community. I don't. I think that, I stand by my previous comments about how we're connected, but just I think generally there is today a feeling of disconnect. And I think that I would, given an opportunity, I would continue to break down barriers for communication, because really the things that divide us, I think, is a lack of understanding. And I think that if we're willing to sit down and communicate honestly and openly with each other, that problems that might seem big and too big to challenge or too big to overcome become less so when we're honest and communicating with each other openly, and that's what I would like to do.
That's well said. And just to make sure that I'm tracking those, you mean neighbor to neighbor or agency to agency or the whole boat?
All of those things.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, all of those things.
Have you ever, as the mayor, decided to launch an investigation into why Polly Eyes, what they put in those breadsticks that make them
I was going to ask
so addictive?
I was going to ask the same question, because for a couple of years there was a Polly Eyes in Toledo.
Yes.
Cleveland.
And I want to know.
Which I supported personally.
Same. I think between you and I, maybe we kept them open for as long as they were there.
I don't even know what this is.
Why does
God.
it taste so much better in Bowling Green?
Well, I'm not at liberty to say. I will tell you that when I was...
Is it government secret?
Well, it's just, it's a trade secret. I mean, it's highly guarded. I will tell you that when I was
There's
younger...
a red dot on you.
I worked as a delivery person for Polly Eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, and when Campus Polly Eyes first opened, this is many years ago, I worked in that facility, and I used to go in on Saturday morning and help them mix the sauce. The secret's the sauce.
It's
always the sauce.
It is the sauce.
And trade secret, I cannot
I
share
should drive
that.
there today and get it,
I think if you're hiring in any role in Bowling Green, you should take the employee to Polly Eyes, let them order first, and if they get anything other than stuffed breadsticks, they're out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and
I
then
agree.
also,
You have to move.
I don't even know what you're saying.
we're
Oh
going
my
to go there
goodness.
today.
I'm gonna
This-
drive.
these
I'm gonna
delicious
take you.
stuffed
You've not had?
breadsticks.
No, sir.
We're going to go
we
right
need to
after the
change
show
that.
back.
Yeah, no, I'd love.
We need to
Technically,
change
Mayor, you should have brought him with you.
I should have. I apologize.
And not technically, I mean literally. You should have.
Can you go now? No. So, but I think that's, you talk about collaboration. Obviously, we joke about, Polly Eyes in Toledo, Polly Eyes in BG. There is a natural competition. I'm the PA announcer for Toledo Athletics. And so anytime I hear Bowling Green, my natural response has to be like, ugh. But the reality is those institutions compete in football and basketball for a couple hours, a couple days a year. Yes. And I know those institutions partner in more ways than they compete. Talk to me about, from a government standpoint, the partnership between Bowling Green and Toledo.
If I'm being honest, I don't have any connections with the government of Toledo. I've met the mayor of Toledo on a couple of different occasions. I watch from a distance, and I think that there are some really great things happening in Toledo. I will say that I recognize that regionally it's critical that Toledo is successful.
Yeah.
And I think in many ways they are. There are a lot of really good things happening in Toledo, but honestly, there is not a lot of collaboration taking place, and maybe that's something that I need to put on a list to improve. Maybe there are opportunities that are missing. I am connected regionally through Team Acogre, Lake Erie West now. I've been involved in that for many, many years. And our staff is involved in that. So there is collaboration taking place, but I can't say that there is any direct collaboration government to government. But you prompt a thought maybe that I need to be looking at.
Who is your best friend, Mayor?
Who's my best friend?
Yeah, your mayor. That's your closest mayor friend.
And why is it Tim Pedro?
I know Tim Pedro. My best friend, mayor, it used to be Tom Mackin, was the mayor of Perrysburg. Tom and I were close. So that's a good question. You kind of caught me. I'm going to have to make a new best friend.
We're talking with Mike Aspacher, the mayor of Bowling Green, here on a Mayor Monday on the 419. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the future of Bowling Green, some of the ideas left on his current term, and maybe the next 3 or 4 or 5 terms, kind of what he's thinking. We'll take a break. We'll be right back on the 419, powered by WGTE.
To me, community means connecting to others.
I'm Donnie Miller, and welcome to The Point.
I love PBS Kids!
We're a community committed to education. Discover new ideas, dive into exciting subjects, and engage with the world around you.
I would send them personally a t-shirt. Crime doesn't pay in the Old West End, pass it on. That's how we cleaned up the neighborhood.
Vision loss for people is not the end.
It's a story, it's the next chapter.
WGTE Public Media invites you to Get Out and Play Day.
The 419, 7 a.m. on YouTube, 3 p.m. on FM 91, and 6 p.m. on WGTE Connects. It's the 419, powered by WGTE.
WGTE, where you come to watch, listen, and learn.
Welcome back into the 419, powered by WGTE. It's Mayor Monday, and we're spending it in Bowling Green, Ohio, with the mayor of Bowling Green, Mike Aspacher.
Mr. Mayor, not a terribly unique story, but it's always surprising. You didn't leap immediately into public service in your current role. You've actually been a glutton for punishment for a significant amount of time. I want to talk a little bit about your lineage. Your first role serving the community that you've made your home your entire life was what?
Board of Education.
Okay.
School board. I was coaching Little League Baseball at Carter Park in Bowling Green.
Yeah.
And
who's the better baseball player between your two sons?
They were equal. They were both. They were
real politicians.
Very, very good baseball players.
And sons,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and sons, of course. I'm proud of both of them equally. I love them both equally. There are no favorites.
Yeah, sure.
So I was coaching Little League Baseball at Carter Park, and one evening I was approached by 2 gentlemen. One happened to be the leader of the Republican Party in the city of Bowling Green. One was the leader of the Democratic Party in Bowling Green.
It sounds like the beginning of a joke.
That's not very close friends, and they approached me when I was coaching their children. They were on the same team, and they approached me one evening and said, "Have you ever thought of running for the Board of Education?" I was like, why would I ever think of doing that? I was professionally, I was a plumber. I was a union plumber pipe fitter, local 50 in Toledo.
I know 50.
Local 50,
yeah. That was my career. So why would I ever think that I was qualified to run for any elected office? But they talked me into it. I ran, and for some reason, the people of Bowling Green elected me to this position. And so I saw that initially as an opportunity to serve the community. I grew up in Bowling Green. I was born there, I've raised there. I've never lived anywhere else. Graduated from Bowling Green High School, so in an opportunity to give back to that organization or the community presented itself, I was talked into the opportunity, and I really enjoyed it, quite honestly.
I love the idea of a potentially times gone by where the head of a party could be friends with the head of the other party. I think you mentioned it in our previous segment about breaking down barriers in communication. You can have polarized views and be friends and have a conversation. So that's not lost on me. But you moved from this when you were assaulted by these 2 on a baseball field and forced into service. It didn't end there. How did you get the bug and continue to sort of give back in this way? I mean, you're already coaching after hours, right? But that's for your family. Or presumably, you were coaching your boys. How did you continue to care about everyone else's boys and families?
Well, first of all, an example of public service was set in my household.
Talk to me about that.
My parents were active in our community when I grew up. They were active in our church. I talk about Little League Baseball in Bowling Green. My dad was one of the founding fathers of Little League Baseball in Bowling Green many, many years ago. And he coached the same team for like 37 years and was a league officer and all that sort of thing. So I grew up And my mother was involved in it also. She ran the concession stand, and I remember her every day in the summer making in our kitchen at our home sloppy joes and shredded chicken sandwiches and other food that was then sold in the concession stand, and profits went to the organization. I grew up in that environment of public service, so that was the example that was set for me. So
have you had a sloppy joe in the last 30 years?
I have, yes, 30 years, yes, for sure, absolutely.
My mom
Who doesn't like
to,
sloppy joes?
My mom used to make banana bread religiously. I think it was therapeutic for her, and once I moved out of the house, I've never had banana bread ever again.
Yeah.
But the service continued.
No, that's what it was. And honestly, I've joked that I kind of feel like the Forrest Gump of elected officials. I just find myself in positions where opportunities present themselves. One day, when I was done with the school board, I thought I was done with public service. I was mowing my lawn, and the current 3rd Ward representative on City Council at that time, who I was familiar with, pulled in my driveway and explained to me that she had filed the papers to run for re-election, but she changed her mind. She was spending too much time on city business and not enough time attending her children's sporting events or school events or whatever, and she asked me if I would take her place on the ballot. This was late in the election cycle, maybe in September. So I agreed to, after talking with my wife, I agreed to try it. And interestingly,
what was that conversation like, if you don't mind prying now into your personal affairs, but you sat around the kitchen table, you talked about the commitment to time. What was the discussion like in your home about doing this?
Well, my wife has always been terribly supportive of these, service positions that I have.
Plus, it gets you out of the house. So
gets me out of the house, gives her time to shop and do the things that she likes to do. But no, she's always been tremendously supportive. So it was a very short conversation. And interestingly, that first election for 3rd Ward Council representative in Bowling Green, my opponent was my 7th grade science teacher, Roger Mazzarella, who is also the Hall of Fame lacrosse coach, not lacrosse, rugby coach at Bowling Green State University.
Okay.
So I won that election, and I served on City Council for 10 years.
Wow.
And honestly, to me, it's always been just a matter of public service. I mean, I love the Bowling Green community. As I mentioned before, I've never lived anywhere else. I've never really been inclined to move and live anywhere else.
How did the mayorship happen? Was it a vacancy? Did you run against someone?
No, again, it just kind of happened. I was approaching a point where I was going to retire from my job because I could. The union has a provision where when your age and your years of service total a certain number, 90, you're able to retire with full benefits. And there was some discussion about adjusting that number, and I didn't necessarily want to get caught in a position where I was required. So I retired because I could. And I was relatively young. I was 57 or 58 years old. And it just so happened I was on City Council. I was the president of council at the time. And my predecessor, Mayor Edwards, Dick Edwards, decided that he was not going to run again. And I kind of sat around and waited for somebody to step up and throw their hat in the ring, and nobody ever did. So then I figured, well, what the heck, somebody's got to do this. I threw my hat in the ring, I ran unopposed, and there I was. I found myself in the mayor's office.
We're talking with Mike Aspacher, the mayor of Bowling Green. When you think about, all of those years of service, you don't run for mayor because you want to be in charge. You don't run for mayor because you want to be mayor, right? You run for mayor because there's something you see in the community that you want to change, you want to maintain. What was that for you when you finally said, "Yep, I'm running for mayor"? What was that first campaign? What was that first, campaign promise?
It was being open to positive change and taking advantage of opportunities to allow the community to continue to progress. And that's really what it is. I had no agenda. I had no specific item that I pointed to and said, if I'm elected, I will do this. I have always been a belief.
Was that the tagline? Mayor Mike, no ideas.
No ideas. I have no clue what I'm going to do, but just trust me, I'll do something.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out together.
Yeah.
That's a good tagline.
No one else wanted to do this. That should be the hashtag.
What I did was I sat down and I created an inventory of what I thought it was reasonable for residents to expect from their local government.
Yes, sir.
And once I created that list, then I decided that my priority was going to be to make certain that the government was focusing itself on providing those services in the best way possible within our means. So those things to me are public safety, police and fire protection, municipal utilities. We're very proud of our municipal utility operations. Public works and our parks and all of these things that contribute to the quality of life in the community. I will stand up our services, the delivery of our services and the quality and dependability against any municipality in this area. I'm so proud of the work that our employees do. And again, it's because I think that they're professionals and they're allowed to function in a professional environment. I see my role is making certain that we're focusing on that core mission and that we're doing everything that we do to provide them all the tools and resources that they need to do the job to achieve that standard.
What's next for Bowling Green?
What's next for Bowling Green? We're gonna take advantage of opportunities for our growth, and we're seeing that. We're seeing new housing starts for the first time in more than a decade. We have one subdivision that is currently filling up in its first plat and getting ready to sell plat 2. We have at least one other subdivision that is currently being planned. We have housing, other housing starts in different types. Some senior housing is taking place. Our economic development efforts are bearing fruit. We see businesses choosing to invest in Bowling Green. We see existing businesses choosing to expand or reinvest in Bowling Green, so the business climate is strong. And a part of that is because of our municipal utilities.
That private investment in housing is such a good indicator of the economy and the future of Bowling Green. What so many of other mayors that we've talked to have talked about housing and the need for affordable housing and their existing housing stock. What do you say about what that, as it currently exists, what's its status?
I think that it's tremendously difficult everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And it's the three factors that I feel contribute most to the development of housing are those fixed costs, land, labor, and materials. And of course, the price pressures on all of those have been upward over the course of the last several years. So that's creating challenges everywhere. So what we've done in Bowling Green is we've created a number of incentives that we're extending to builders and those looking to build in Bowling Green, where we're deferring some of the fees associated with building new housing in Bowling Green. So it's utility tap fees and plan fees and that sort of thing. So you just try to create incentives and take advantage of opportunity.
Mayor, thank you so much. We're going to put you on the hot seat. I don't know if I gave you a heads up on this one or not, so buckle up. It's now time for Gretchen's Wacky Quiz.
All right.
I am going to ask 4 rapid-fire questions.
Okay.
Gretchen's going to ask you to describe Bowling Green in one word.
Okay.
And then you and Matt are going to list the 9 best things in Bowling Green.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Question number 1. If you were made a world leader, what policy would you introduce?
What policy would I introduce? I would introduce a policy that puts severe limits on campaign finance.
Oh, yeah.
Almost eliminates, or probably follow the European model, where there is a set amount of money that is extended to political candidates.
Then that's it.
That allows them to conduct a campaign, and that's it. There is no private contribution. And I would also eliminate lobbyists to Congress.
Agreed. Smart.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Olives.
All right.
I hate them.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
If you were the captain of a pirate ship, what would be the name of your ship?
The Olive.
Well, it's not very original. Probably the Rum Runner, because that, we would be rum infused. We would have rum drinks with pineapple and coconut and all those things in it, so we'd be rum runners.
I love it. And what's your favorite winter activity?
Sitting by a warm fire reading a book.
What's the one word you would use to describe the city of Bowling Green?
Vibrant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, you're stuck with me for 9. 9 of your favorite things.
Okay.
Fire when ready.
All right, well, I know I should probably start by doing the politician thing and talking about our historic downtown and municipal parks. But I'm not doing it.
Okay,
I'm not going to do that.
He's not doing it.
I'm not doing that. All right, so here we go.
You do have a great park system, by the way.
We do.
And I can speak authoritatively on that.
All right, here we go. Stuffed breadsticks from Campus Poly. You guys
Number
are
one.
you
Number
guys are
one.
seers. Watching the Bowling Green Holiday Parade.
Yes.
Getting a twice blended mocha frappuccino, extra whip, skim milk, double mocha latte from Bigby or any of the other 5 coffee shops in downtown Bowling Green.
What does your husband drink?
Black coffee with an ice cube. Going to a concert at the Clazel. I don't know if you heard about that, but there's a promoter presenting concert. In
I've definitely heard that. Not like the stupid breadsticks that 3 of you been
the 100-year-old
breadsticks are going to change your life.
Zip lining down Main Street with President Rogers during Rally BG. This happens every year. It's awesome. Enjoying a massive Euro from Southside 6.
All right.
Watching the Falcons ground the Rockets at the Doit.
That's just rude.
That's not going to happen.
Had to say it.
Rude.
Loading up on candy from Ben's General Store.
Yes.
Freddie and Frida Falcon.
Yeah, they're good.
Jamming out at the Black Swamp Festival. That's my list.
Mayor, that was a good list.
Aspacher, thank you so much. Such a pleasure to meet you and to hear about Bowling Green. What's the next big people? We've asked this and we kind of skipped it. Let's fly through it. If somebody's going to spend a day in Bowling Green, what should they do?
Come downtown, have a lunch at one of our great restaurants, or Campus Poly Eyes. They have the breadsticks. We got to get you down, and we got to do that.
Yep.
Do some shopping. There are unique boutiques in downtown Bowling Green, and then we're going to go over to Winter Garden Park, and we're going to walk through one of the trails, and then we're going to go over to Simpson Garden Park, and we're going to walk through the Hosta Garden over there, and then we're going to go to the city park, put our swimming suits on, and float down the lazy river, and then we'll go back downtown, and we'll have a classic cocktail at Samby's.
The
Sounds like a great
pool
day.
in Bowling Green is phenomenal. My kids love it. It's like a phenomenal parenting life hack staycation to head there. It's awesome. It's
great.
Mayor, thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, Mark Ohashi from Habitat of Wood County will join us. We'll be right back on the 419.
Want to keep up with everything WGTE Public Media? Well, there's an app for that. Our new app provides national and local content from radio and television on demand. Listen live, watch your favorite TV programs, access schedules or podcasts, set reminders for your favorite shows, and more. Download it free for Android or Apple.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at WitroAdvisors.com.
Destination Toledo. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Destination Toledo invites you to explore the region and be a tourist in Toledo. Find events, dining, and things to do at visittoledo.org.
WorkSpring. HR issues and employee well-being go hand in hand. WorkSpring supports employers through compliance, training, and wellness because healthy workplaces don't happen by accidents. Learn more at workspring.org.
Toledo Refining Company, a subsidiary of PDF Energy. Toledo Refining Company is a supplier of fuels that keep our region moving. Located in Oregon, Ohio, the refinery processes crude oil into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other petroleum products.
And TARTA, celebrating its 55th year of connecting Northwest Ohioans to their community. More information at tarta.com. Welcome back into the 419, powered by WGTE. It's Mayor Monday. We're spending the day in Bowling Green. We're joined now by the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity of Wood County, Mark Ohashi. Mark, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What is I can't imagine people aren't familiar with Habitat for Humanity, but talk to me about what Habitat does in Wood County.
Absolutely. So our mission is to help individuals and families secure decent and affordable housing. And we do that through our affordable home ownership program, as well as our home repair program, helping homeowners who would otherwise not be able to afford a health and safety related repair.
Why? In an ideal world, many of our guests' jobs would not exist, right? Meaning that there wouldn't be a necessity for this sort of support. At the risk of putting you on the spot, Mark, everyone has heard of Habitat for Humanity. Thank you for providing some context to what it is. But and if you don't know, we can cut it immediately. But how long has Habitat for Humanity been in existence, period?
So it was established in 1976 as a formal official nonprofit 501c3.
Sure.
Where? Founded by a gentleman named Millard Fuller and his wife Linda Fuller out in Americus, Georgia.
Okay. It's both wonderful and sad. It's like every time I watch The West Wing again, it's still relevant, which is a bit of a downer. I would argue that Habitat for Humanity has potentially never been more important than it is right now. There's a lot of things that layer on to that truth statement. Have you found more passion in your mission? Because it does seem to be such a need indiscriminate of what community you're in. Every mayor we've had on, which is now, we can't count on two hands, has talked about housing. People are talking about housing. And although the housing crisis differs from the sort of ocean states, if you will, than the ones that we live in, why is housing such an issue, and why has it been an issue for almost 50 years that will require this level of support?
Right.
That's it. Thanks, Mark.
All right. I find it interesting because the passion for housing that brought me into it started, back in 2008 when I started with Habitat. It was actually through an internship.
Okay.
And the passion for it was very much alive, and the issue of housing was very much alive. I mean, we know that housing was a major issue in 2008.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But for me, I became very aware and very ignited by the need for housing when I saw people in their housing situation. And I'm talking at the case study level, by the one person, the two people, the three families and more that I had the opportunity to do home visits with, to go and to see what their housing situation was. So, I mean, it has always been an issue. Now more so, it has become a very hot issue, mm-hmm. and we are seeing funding support to go behind that now. But it has always been an issue, because even for that one family back in 2008, 2006, whatever year you want, that is living in inadequate housing because they can't afford to get out of it. They don't have the means to, for whatever reason. It's not acceptable to be living in some of the housing that I saw here in the United States.
To Matt's point, I mean, every mayor we've had on has talked about housing, but the solution to that can be a myriad of things. For Habitat, the goal is home ownership. Why does that matter?
Yeah, I think that home ownership, one of the big things that we see is it brings stability to mm-hmm. a family. They're not having to leave a rental or because of the continuing increasing costs of rent, at the mercy of a landlord that may or may not be doing the health and safety related repairs that are needed. So there's autonomy there through home ownership. It's a way to bring stability, I think, to the family, mm-hmm. And it's the next step for families that are ready and prepared to take that next step.
And
what are some of the reasons that people that are in a home can't maintain it? I mean, obviously, I think most people can understand, a tree falls on your roof and you don't have insurance. That's incredibly expensive. Your basement floods, it'd be incredibly expensive to fix that. But is the reason for the deterioration of a property and an individual's inability to do that, financial, physical? What are some of those reasons?
Yeah, I would think that it would be when housing costs, we see that 1 in 8 families are paying more than 50% of their household income on housing, just utilities and rent. So how do you divide up the remaining dollars? And so not home improvement, but home maintenance costs, right, ought to constitute a certain portion of that budget, along with food, transportation, and all the others. So when you're dumping your household income just for the 4 walls, then I think that it leaves less for the basic maintenance.
And why should the rest of the community, including the neighbors around that person and that house, care about what happens to that house?
I think it's about being a community.
Right.
It's about helping one another, and that's what we see is that the community does respond when they have the opportunity, when they are aware of the opportunity, when they're aware of the need. They do respond because we see it every day as we see volunteers coming out onto the build site, when we see volunteers coming out and helping and sitting on the committees that we have. So people do want to help, and when they have that opportunity to blend their availability and their skill set to a cause, they're jumping out there and they're doing it.
I've had the privilege a couple different times of participating in builds with Maumee Valley Habitat for Humanity. If folks have not participated in that process, talk to me about what the process of building a home is, the role that volunteers play, and what that experience is like for them.
So it's amazing to see volunteers coming out from all walks of life, different skill sets and backgrounds, and coming out and being united in this one task that today we are going to put up walls. And there's a lot of energy that goes behind that and a real commitment to doing it right. So the process is just typically when we're doing a build, we're working with corporate groups or decent-sized groups of about 10 volunteers, 10 to 12 volunteers that come out for a build day. We don't want to oversaturate the build site and create unsafe situations, but so in a manageable group size, and then they're given the task, they sign up, they waiver up, and then they come out and build, and we provide a lunch for them, and we have a set schedule of what we want to accomplish on any given day, and then we also have what we call core crew, that are our retired team of volunteers that are available. They're more familiar with the building process, and so they help our construction manager navigate the volunteers for the day.
Mark, this is probably at this point just a calling. Back us up into your process, even into the internship that led to the position you're in today. Where are you from? How did you get, what is the background that made you particularly inclined to fall into this line or this vocation?
Yeah. So actually I grew up in Montreal, Canada. Mm-hmm. And and my father was a doctor.
Okay.
And one of the things that, I realized it was a really privileged.
Was your father annoyed by providing health care for an entire country? I'm just kidding. That's not the show. That's not the show. Yeah. Yep. Right, your family.
We'll stick with them.
Yeah.
So Montreal, Canada, grew up, and it was a really privileged life. I got to play every sport that I wanted to play. There was never a lack of funds to buy hockey equipment.
Sure.
To skiing. And music lessons, all of those things cost.
Sure.
And I just, I think later on realized how privileged I was to have that opportunity, and I found that just with my skill set, had an opportunity to help others.
What's the skill set that you're referencing to? If you had to write, what is that?
Question. I don't have any real skills.
Sure.
But I do know.
I can relate.
But there you go. But I do, I think, appreciate what other people bring to the table. And I think that's what I see. So when I see someone, I learn about them and see where their skills are, see where their passions are. And I think I'm just able to connect them to a need that we may have as an organization, and how that can lend to furthering the mission to be able to help others. It's about connecting people who have a desire to help, but they may not know in what area can my skill set be used. And amazingly, I find that with Habitat, we make use of so many different skill sets. Now with the Restore, there's a whole retail side to the mission that is a whole other skill set. It's not about hammering anymore. It's about the sales side of things, all to further the mission of affordable housing.
We're talking with Mark Ohashi with Habitat for Humanity of Wood County. The Restore is fantastic. I mean, it's been a place where I've been able to go purchase things. It's also a place where I can, comfortably donate items that I don't need anymore, but still have some life in them. When you think about, I mean, Matt had talked about, this idea that, many of our nonprofit guests have roles that in an ideal world don't exist. You wave a magic wand, what would need to change for Habitat to not need to exist?
A housing solution for every housing need. So not everybody is necessarily going to be a homeowner. There's some people that renting is the right decision for them, but it ought to be affordable for them. And so I think that the magic wand is just, shelter is a basic need. It's where we start our day. It's where we end our day. When there is an issue at home with just the structure, it wears on you.
It does.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, we all know where that one leak was, in our house, or and it
was my dad. No, sorry. Yeah.
That might be another episode, but yeah. It is. And it wears on you, and then you got to figure out, how am I going to get this done? Where am I going to get the money to do it? And so that's shelter. And so when that's not solved, then that bleeds into all areas of our life.
You've been doing this a long time now, and I'm sure that there are many answers to this question. But there have to be some feel-good moments that stand out. Even on a career of positive moments. Can you share one of them with us? That is wind in your sails, because work is work. So even when you're giving to others, it can occasionally suck, I'm sure. But what's a story that puts wind in your sails or keeps you going?
One of them was there was a gentleman, and we're really known for our home ownership program, but we started this home repair program back in 2015, and it was we were just kind of puttering along and trying to do a repair here and there. But in 2020, there was a gentleman that applied, and living in his house, he couldn't get help from anywhere else. He was sort of in that income bracket where there wasn't assistance available. He had no running water.
Oh my God.
In Wood County in 2020. And we went and looked at his project, and I saw gallon jugs of water all lined up his hallway, like two, and he had them on like wood and 2 layers high.
2 levels, yeah.
2 levels, right? And he used that to bathe. He used that for drinking water. He'd actually literally go fetch water at his neighbors and then bring them back to his place. Went into his bathroom. His toilet's tilted. The soil pipe is cracked. You can imagine what happens when your soil pipe is cracked. And underneath is this crawl space, and his shower is filled with black mold. It was just horrendous. And I was like, wow, this is Wood County in 2020.
Right.
And so it was a project that we took on. we first reestablished a water connection, and I just had an amazing team. It's about finding the people that are able to have that skill set to be able to do the task, and we did. And we had an amazing team of people that came around and put their time into this project. We totally gutted that bathroom, cleaned out everything that was in that crawl space from the toilet. God bless the team that did that. And we put in a whole new bathroom, new drywall painted, new flooring, a walk-in shower, a toilet that sat properly on the floor and flushed, and
changed his whole life.
And you didn't have to use a metric system like your dad did.
And he said that he didn't. He said he wanted to bring his TV into his bathroom.
Yes,
that's where he wanted to just.
He wanted to stay there. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's so
Mark,
nice.
thank you so much. If people want more information on how they can volunteer, or maybe they're interested in becoming a homeowner, or they've got a need for some help in their home, how do they contact you?
Yeah, all the information is there on our website at wchabitat.org. They can apply for a home ownership program, apply for a repair, and just get involved through volunteering.
Awesome. Mark Ohashi with Wood County Habitat for Humanity. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you
us.
for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this Mayor Monday edition of the 419.
You laughed with us. You learned with us.
Hi, neighbor.
We made sure your childhood was special. Memories that could only be provided by PBS. For generations, we've given you programs that made a difference. Programs that entertain, inform, and inspired. And today is no different. This is WGTE Public Media in Toledo. It's where you belong.
Want to keep up with everything WGTE Public Media? Well, there's an app for that. Our new app provides national and local content from radio and television on demand. Listen live, watch your favorite TV programs, access schedules or podcasts, set reminders for your favorite shows, and more. Download it free for Android or Apple.
Welcome back into the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Wheatro Wealth Management. As we wrap up a Mayor Monday edition, I had never met Mike before, had a conversation with him on the phone, but he was
nice guy,
fantastic.
Yes, I get the good fortune of spending holidays with him, and he is exactly like that. And it's downtime as well.
Which I appreciate that I did not really know the extent of your connection to him until after I've put the better part of the last 6 months in trying to get to him. So thanks for telling me that you spend holidays with him.
Well, it just goes to
Kevin,
show.
Flag Day, you guys could have across the barbecue together.
If
the
he
normal
had read
ratio,
the spreadsheet,
it would take, what?
he would know. If he read the spreadsheet, he would know you were trying.
Why would the mayor read our spreadsheet?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I got a better chance of the mayor reading our spreadsheet.
He probably does.
Than I do
actually.
you.
He's read the exact.
He seems competent.
He's read the same amount of times as I have.
That is true.
Yeah, he is a great guy on and off the mic, so I can attest to that. Obviously, I know his son, and
it definitely comes through. And BG is just gangbusters. That Wooster coming in all the way through downtown, exactly as he describes. It's so many changes.
The only thing I didn't want to bring up the sore subject, but having those little robots delivering food around.
I didn't know whose job. I wanted to bring it up too.
Me too. I thought that's the only reason we're doing the show.
You should have asked him. Yeah.
The only
I think
downside
they're
is not bringing us anything.
What are they called?
Robots.
Yeah, that's fine.
And of course, Mark Ohashi from Habitat was fantastic. If you missed any part of the show, you can catch it 7 a.m. on YouTube, 3 p.m. on FM 91, or 6 p.m. on WGT Connects channel 30.4.
Before we cut again, what is the name of this godforsaken breadstick?
Holly Eyes. It's the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Wheatro Wealth Management.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you.